Hello, I'm Tom and this is my project blog. My project is a 3D combat plugin for the Unreal Engine, which means I've been reading lots of this. But it's actually getting use from a real designer, well, student, which means I've also been reading lots of this. Now, the idea behind this is I've got to build this for a designer rather than just, as a final project. It's actually a tool that needs to find use. This is where a lot of the research goes in. A good example of this I found was on a quote from, there we go, Algorithms and Networking by John Smed and Harry Hakkonen. I've got the whole quote up on my references on my website, but the gist of it is you've got to build your interface and your software with the user in mind all the time. The interface actually has to work for the user, not the other way around. Now, as such, I've tried delving into how designers design, how they see things logically, how they perceive gameplay as a series of events. Now, one thing I've found to use of this has been in this. Now, the Game Design Reader is an anthology of essays by various bigwigs in the industry. They all referencing, big design concepts, how to design on theory and AI, that kind of thing. Now, one thing I found designers particularly like are diagrams. Namely tree diagrams, like this blurry specimen, because they're sequential and describe game events well, and grid diagrams, because grids are easy. Imagine trying to design chess without, lines. Now this has made a big part of the big choice of going into Unreal, because Unreal has Kismet. If you don't know what Kismet is, it's sort of a drag-and-drop programming feature of the Unreal Engine. It's a way of building game mechanics without having to program. Basically, that's some of the theory behind how designers visualize their game mechanics, the logical process of them. Examples of tools that actually use this are things like Playmaker. Now, Playmaker is a Unity plugin. You plug it into Unity and you can drag and drop events and algorithms to represent and build gameplay without actually having to program it. It's kind of like Kismet in that way. Other good examples, aside from Kismet and Playmaker, are Machinations. Now, Machinations doesn't actually build the game for you. It doesn't build the game. It simulates it. It simulates the gameplay. What it does, it allows you to build a feedback loop. Now, a feedback loop is just, imagine you have resources in the game. A feedback loop is how the resources are affected over the game, how they go back to the player or the source, and how they feed out again. It's basically how the resource gets passed around the gameplay. This isn't specific to my project, but the way it represents it is. It's very clever. It gives a real-time diagram that updates this feedback loop. I'll be posting up the reference for this and some examples on my research page on my website. I should be posting up some examples on this on my research page, so keep in. Now, because I'm actually working with a designer on this, I can take these tools to him, see what he likes about them, see what he doesn't, and then take back notes from that, as well as the actual documentation regarding them. What I'm also going to do is look into some original tools that are already doing this kind of thing, like RPG Maker and especially Game Maker, which actually goes a bit beyond, I think, for sake of having a very presentable and easy to understand logic system where you actually build a game out of it. Aside from that, we've also been working on Unreal scripts. I've got some things compiling, but I'm working on building some Kismet events. Hopefully over the next week or so I'll be able to show those off and get some feedback from my designer again, and have a sort of pre-research idea about how I go about building this project before I start incorporating all these things I'm finding. Till next week.